Welcome everybody to my latest video. So for this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Neo Geo arcade system. Now, if you're barely getting into collecting arcade games, the Neo Geo is a great arcade cabinet to get. Now here's the thing. A lot of, the more famous arcade games, you're not going to find them on the Neo Geo. It had a very select, unique set of games. Some of them are really, really good. Some of them, a-okay. Now, here's the thing. Collectors of Neo Geo cabinets, we love them. I originally had a Neo Geo cab. I sold it, and within weeks of selling it, I regretted it big time. And for years, I was searching for a replacement cabinet, and I could never find one that was at a good price. Eventually, I found this one, love the cabinet, and I don't ever intend on selling it again. Now, the thing about the Neo Geo, it came in a variety of different slots. Single slot, double slot, 4 slot, and 6 slot. Now, I'll get to that in a minute as far as what that means. Now, if you think about the old arcades you used to visit as a kid, it would be something like this, bunch of arcade cabinets right next to each other. And if you think about it, each area where an arcade cabinet stood, that was valuable real estate. And the cabinets had to make the operator a certain amount of money so that, they can continue to function, they can pay off the cabinet and so forth. So if you had, let's say, a cabinet over here and it was only bringing in a few bucks a day, it wasn't doing that well. And arcade operators, they wanted to basically have the most amount of cabinets in the least amount of space. Now, this is where the Neo Geo and its unique feature comes in to hand. The Neo Geo functioned like an old cartridge console system. The NES, the Sega Genesis, even the Nintendo 64. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, like I said, the arcade cabinet came in single slot, double slot, 4 slots, and 6 slots. And usually you could tell by the header, the marquee. In this case, this cabinet is set up for 4 slots. And basically what that meant is, depending on how many slots you had, that would depend, or it would basically mean, how many games this cabinet could play. Now, let's take a look. You can see right there, this is my 4 slot cabinet. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 games are in there. So basically right now, well, at this second I have in there Blazing Star, Baseball Stars 2, Aero Fighters 2, and Metal Slug X. So instead, for an operator who had a Neo Geo, instead of having 4 cabinets, each with 1 game, he could have a single cabinet with as many as 6 games. So he just saved a whole bunch of space while, increasing the number of actual games. Now, I told you the Neo Geo was basically like a console system, and it did have cartridges. So what do those look like? Well, let me show you right now. Okay, so here we are. I got my shock box. Now, the actual shock box and the cover, it's like an aftermarket accessory. I had a whole video on shock boxes. So this is a great way to store your Neo Geo games. But the actual cartridge looks like this. Kind of like an oversized Super Nintendo game. Here I got King of the Monsters. And as you can see, there's really not much to it. I mean, it's just nothing more than a big cartridge. Now, here's the thing. I'll just leave that open. If you're barely getting into arcade cabinets, when you hear Neo Geo, you might think of the original Neo Geo console system, the AES system. Now, those games are freaking expensive. Back in the day when they were new, they were expensive, and even today, the games are expensive. For example, Metal Slug on the Neo Geo console, that cartridge, that'll set you back at least $150, if not in the $250 to $300 price range. Metal Slug for the arcade system, which is known as the MVS, you can get a Metal Slug cartridge for about $50. So it's a huge difference, at least in price, but yeah. So how does the Neo Geo cabinet work? Well, let's find out. Okay, so here we are. I got my cabinet turned on. Sorry about the reflection. It's probably about 11 o'clock in the morning right now. Or would that be 11 o'clock in the afternoon? But let me go ahead and put in some credits. Now, a dedicated Neo Geo cabinet, the nice thing is, it's also got these credit counters. So you'll know how many credits you still have. That's a nice feature I like about Neo Geo cabs. So you put in your credits, or your quarters, tokens, whatever, in the Neo Geo cab. And in this case, a 4-slot. So now you want to look at the different games. That's where the select game button comes in hand. Really, really nice. So we went from Blazing Star, Baseball Stars 2. This one is Aero Fighters 2. And here we got Metal Slug X. But yeah, this is another reason why Neo Geo cabs are awesome. Because with regular cabinets, let's just say this one right here, my Street Fighter, unless you have a JAMMA adapter, you just got one game in there, you want to change the game, you have to pull it out, switch it. Neo Geo cab, I have 4 games in there right now. And how do I switch them? I just press the button. Now, here's the other thing. When you think of Neo Geo, you usually think of fighters. It's got a whole ton of fighters. A lot of them I don't care for. There's only a select few that I like. But it's also got some other great games on it. In this case, Blazing Star. Really fun game. Take a look at this intro right here. But other great games, sorry about the reflection, Cyberlip, fortunately I don't have that. Aero Fighters 2, Blazing Star, Baseball Stars 2, one of my favorite games, King of the Monsters, Magical Drop 2, the Metal Slug series. As you can see, I don't have any fighters on here. Yet all of these games up here are really, really fun. So, if you're getting into arcade cabinets, I would recommend a Neo Geo. A lot of the games, you may not recognize, especially if you only played fighters like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat back in the day. But, give it a chance. A great cabinet. You can have multiple games on a single cab. And, you know, it's a unique section in arcade history, in my opinion. Now, the one thing I will tell you, and this is what I've known from experience, so maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but it seems that Neo Geo cabinets used poor monitors. I've had, you know, the monitor that came in this one, I believe was the original. What was it? Neo? I can't remember. But apparently they're known for, you know, not being all that good. And, you know, that's my history, my experience. I've had other people who had Neo Geo cabs and the monitors just aren't that good. So all I did is I switched out the monitor. Or I will be doing that. But yeah, I mean, take a look at some intros right here. Now I will tell you something else. The other thing about Neo Geo cabinets. Let's get some light in here. Now it seems the 4-slot Neo Geo motherboards, the sound goes out on those. The sound caps need to be replaced. When I got this thing, the sound caps were bad, so I got those fixed. But yeah, you might even be able to get a Neo Geo cabinet 4-slot for a really low price because it has no sound, and all you do is just replace the caps yourself or send them out for replacement. It shouldn't cost that much. Or just buy a new motherboard. But yeah. So, there you are. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, I recommend getting yourself a Neo Geo cabinet. It's a great cabinet in my opinion. Metal Slug. Love that game. So, until next time.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.